In this video, we'll look at several things, and that's going to be using the traditional solid modeling tools to effect a faceted convergent body in NX, as well as adding some text. And so if we look at the part here, we've got faceted body with some blemishes. We're going to trim off the end of the part, and we're going to put some text in that area. And we're going to do that by using the Cleanup Facet Body tool, the Remesh tool, Trim Body, Edge Blend, add some text, and divide the facet faces with that text, and then thicken that area. And so first we'll go into the cleanup. We're going to clean up this facet body. And we do have analysis tools, but we're going to skip to region removal here. And we're going to do this by region. And we're going to use the rough brush. We have other commands, but this lets us just paint the surface to select the facets. And then I can extend how many facets outside of that region. And then we click remove, and it's going to look at curvature based in this case in order to remap the patches. You can see that made a nice smooth finish through there. We've got a lot of blemishes down at the bottom, which we could use the same technique, but in this case I'm just going to remesh the whole thing. And we have different ways. We could do a rough brush on this as well to remove some, but I'm going to use within curves. And so I select one facet, it goes all the way to the edge, it selects them all. Same on the inside. I set the average size that I want for the remeshing, and I'll show the result here, and you can see that orange peel texture goes away and it's much smoother. So we say OK to that, and much smoother to start with. Now we go to the trim body, and we can use the solid body tools on a convergent body here and trim it off as if it was a true B-rep solid. It builds the face on the end. And then with those edges, we can apply an edge blend just like we would in solid modeling. We just select that and our size, say OK, and then it's added a parametric blend to the end. Now if we move on to creating text on the surface, we can select the facet faces directly, choose our plane that's going to act as a baseline for the text. We can flip the direction to the other side of the curve here. We can change this note. We can even attach this to attributes or expressions in NX. And then we can position that based on that section line. So halfway, 50%, and we can drag this to either side of the line with an offset. And we can also change the height here to 8 millimeters. And we say OK to that. And you can see it's mapped that text right onto the facet faces. So then we use the divide face command that used to be just for surfacing, but we can select the facet body and move this over. We can select the text all as one unit. And you can see when we zoom in here, all the facets would be trimmed out in order to create that division between the text. And this is where we use the thicken tool. And I'm going to subtract it from the original body. We also have gash and tolerances we can change if there's any problem generating these. Now I select these. So I'm creating basically like an extrusion, a thickened sheet, and subtracting it. And there you go, you've got 3D text on your part. Now with NX being parametric modeler, we can change any of this. So I can go into my text feature, and let's change the 8 millimeter. Say we need it now to be 20. That all updates. All the dividing of faces and facets and thickening. We can even reposition that section curve that we originally started with, like my handle here. And then we say OK. And you get an updated note. So these are just some handy tools that can save you a lot of time if you're creating some convergent bodies for 3D printing and need to add text, logos, any product manufacturer information, product numbers to that face. We can do that quickly. This significantly reduces iteration time and accelerates the 3D printing workflow from the concept to the final part.